Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with a 2018 December Clique Kit and Flare from a Flare for Buttons. So if you remember when I did my unboxing, this kit is full of a lot of travel stuff. And so I knew that there was a photo or two that I wanted to use based on some of the ephemera and papers that are in the kit. And those are the pictures. And this has been in my queue to do for a while. So I blew up this file that is actually in the Clique Kits. It's from Clique Kits, and I made it big, and then I made it so that the heart would have in the center of it. I added little dotted lines so that it would cut those for me so that I can stitch through that heart. Right now, I'm just going through all of the pattern papers and auditioning, trying to figure out which ones I want. And I put the ones that were contenders over there on the left, and so now I'm just kind of going through the contenders to pick out the one that I really wanted, and I ended up with this one. The other thing that I did do off camera before I started was I pulled out just a few of there was so much ephemera, so I pulled out just a few of the ephemera pieces that I thought might work, and then I knew I wanted to try to incorporate these acrylic pieces from Color Cast Designs that came in the kit because they're so cute and they fit with the whole kit so well. The photos are just, or the photos, not the photos, the colors are just perfect. So now what I'm going through is I'm going through that ephemera that I initially picked out. I'm going through it again now that I've kind of picked out my background paper and I'm getting a little bit more serious about embellishing. And I'm pulling out the ones that from that stash that I might use. And I'm going to try to start placing a few things there. There is that little piece that started it all. As soon as I saw that little rolly suitcase piece of ephemera when I did my unboxing video, I was like, oh my goodness, I am totally going to use that. I'm not usually a Phoebe scrapbooker, but that one worked out perfectly for me. So then I'm thinking I might put this like little city down at the bottom and then add something over the top of it like a phrase. And so I'm kind of going through that. And then I was like, well, why not just use this escape? So I do end up using that. So you'll see how that turns out here in a few. All right, so the story behind this one is that we were just going to Rockford for a trip the day after Thanksgiving. And my daughter was super happy about having that suitcase. And so we took some pictures. She was adorably cute. I went ahead and stitched that off camera, and I used kind of a hot pink, a yellow, a blue, a purple, and kind of aqua color, and I did it like in rainbow. Anyway, so we went to Rockford, and we snapped these pictures, and so I just had to scrap that, and I want to remember, there's things that I want to remember about her loving those suitcases. She just loves life so much, and I appreciate that so much that I want to remember all those little things that she remembers or that she loves. And I want her to know that when she goes back and looks at these stories, I want her to know that that was something that was pretty fun about her. So I am going to back this whole file off camera with this foam because, and I've done that now. It's kind of boring to watch. I just cut up the foam and put it behind there, cut up the foam and put it behind there. Now I'm putting some foam behind the bottom of each of these acrylic pieces because they're going to overlap the cut file, which I've popped up. So the thing about these acrylic pieces is some of them are opaque and some of them are kind of transparent. And they all come with a backing on them. So when you buy stuff from Color Cast Designs, or you get them in a kit, you will see that they come typically with some sort of a back on them, and that is on there from when they cut it, okay? You can peel that off, and if you peel that off, some of the pieces, like I said, become more transparent. Well, I didn't want that because I didn't want to see through to the back of this paper because it would make it even more busy than it already is, and so I ended up leaving that paper on and adding some foam to pop it up, and I used the white foam on some of them because they were more transparent. I'm going to use, I think I only end up using one of these labels from Pretty Little Studio. I cut a few out because I'm trying to decide if I want to add some more things behind those photos or not. but I think I just end up using one of them. I also added some tissue paper at some point. I think I actually did it on camera, but I already had the tissue paper. The tissue paper was already kind of the right size, so. All right, so now I'm just going to glue this down, and then I am going to let it sit there with heavy stuff on top of it to make sure that it sticks, and I'm going to walk away for a while, and then I'll come back. I think it's still the same day, but I just let it dry. So there, I put all my little heavy things on there, and then walk away. And when I come back now, I'm going to get serious about really starting to glue down some of those pieces that I know I'm going to place. Like, there's really no other place to put these pieces. So they fit perfectly here. They look kind of cute, like a little skyline at the bottom. So I went ahead and just added those. And I know I want to add some clusters. I found some, or I knew that I had some flare from a Flare for Buttons that matched this kit perfectly and matched the theme of this layout. And so I pulled those out, and one says travel and then one is a bus. And so I end up using those two, and then I add a butterfly to the mix because it's Bee and she's my little bumblebee and my little butterfly. Also off camera, I went ahead and did some journaling, typed that up. I typed up something that says Rockford, Illinois, because that's where we were headed. And that will be in one location. And then another location is where my journaling will be. And I do end up putting it here where I have it right now, but I end up moving it around a little bit and coming back to this. So my journaling says there is just something about a suitcase with wheels that makes Bee unbelievably happy. And that is so true. So true. So I kind of wanted to use that little alpaca. I don't know if you saw it, but there's an alpaca there that is over kind of by my photo there. I just touched it. But I couldn't find, because I used the giant cut file, I had a hard time embellishing because I didn't want to add too much to take away from the photos, the story, and the giant cut file. Plus, there's a lot going on in the background with the stripes and such. So I struggled a little bit with placement of ephemera. And adding little clusters, but not a lot, but just, you'll see me move stuff around a little bit more than normal like this. I wasn't sure that I liked my journaling down at the bottom, but I end up leaving it down at the bottom, and it works out just fine. All right, so I do pop up my photos as well, which I think I've done, but I'm not sure. And so everything's kind of popped up, except for that background paper, of course. I found this little tag thing. It says, "Are we there yet?" I think is what it says. And then the 3 pieces of flare, and that's about it. I kept coming back to that sticker sheet because it has some really great, that sticker sheet I think is an exclusive to the Clique Kits that month. And so I wanted to use it, but I just really didn't have a place to use it. So I don't end up using it. I kind of went with the idea that less is more on this one. I think I'm on a new day. I have new clothes on. Like I said, I was struggling a little bit with placement of my clusters and my ephemera. And so I wanted less is more, but I wasn't sure where to put things. So I walked away. And then I came back the next day and finished it up. So I'm going to I have my thread out. I have blue and yellow and pink thread, and I'm going to do that. And then for some reason, I went back to my ephemera pieces, and I found this piece that says, "Let's go, go, go." And I cut 2 of the goes off, so it says "Let's go." And I put one of "Let's go" in one spot, and then I put this go right here. And then I put another go in another location. And that, for some reason, just doing that was like, yes, that's what I needed to do. So now I feel like I can glue stuff down and be done with it. So I have my journaling down in the bottom, and I have some thread up behind that piece that says, "Are we there yet?" I have thread behind each of the flare buttons, which also has a go or let's go or something with it. I have where we are. And then off camera, the other thing that I do add off camera is I end up putting a date. I used one of those labels behind my, you'll see me add that here in a second, behind my photo. And I forgot to stamp it with the date on camera. So I did that off camera. I toyed with the idea of adding these stars to each of the clusters. And then I was like, you know what? No, the clusters are done. So there's that piece, and I am pretty much finished now. This cape, once I narrowed down the ephemera, then it came together quickly. I struggled a little bit. I did it over days because I would get frustrated and just walk away. But once I found that let's go, 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 then it was all done. So there is the final product. I love how it turned out. It's so bright and cute, and that big cut file is awesome. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.